Today we look at the promised birth of that Savior that we have been looking forward to all through Luke chapter 1. Let's take a look at Luke chapter 2, starting in verse 1 and going through verse 7. It reads, "In those days, Caesar Augustus issued a decree that a census should be taken of the entire Roman world. This was the first census that took place while Quirinius was governor of Syria. And everyone went to their own town to register. So Joseph also went up from the town of Nazareth in Galilee to Judea, to Bethlehem, the town of David, because he belonged to the house and line of David. He went there to register with Mary, who was pledged to be married to him, and was expecting a child. While they were there, the time came for the baby to be born, and she gave birth to her firstborn, a son. She wrapped him in cloths and placed him in a manger, because there was no guest room available for them." I love this story. In fact, I love the stories of Luke chapter 1 and Luke chapter 2, the birth of John and the birth of Jesus. The reason why I think I love them is because they're so unexpected. To think that the time of proclamation, the wonder and majesty, the great miracle in its very inception comes not with the rise of power and might, but the rise of humbleness and helplessness in the form of a baby. The promise of a child, the promise of God coming to be with us. I think we lose sight of that even in our everyday life, especially in the culture we live in today. We want things instantaneous. We want things that are big and spectacle. It's always bigger is better, and greater than that is even better. And I'm reminded that God oftentimes moves in the still and small things. Then the beautiful picture of a baby coming and being like us. I mean, could you imagine for just a moment that as John puts at the beginning of his gospel, the one through whom all things were made, and nothing was made that was made apart from him, apart from Jesus. That individual, the one who breathed life into his mother, humbles himself, empties himself of his divine divinity, as Paul puts it in Philippians, and becomes helpless. Helpless as a child, dependent for life's nourishment upon his mother, the very mother that he had given life to. Such a beautiful picture about how God moves and how God has pursued us as individuals. So today I want to challenge you to maybe pause for a moment and think not just about the grand things, the big things that God has done in your life, but maybe the way that you see God faithful to move and intervene in your life in the small ways. Maybe it's just the fact that every day, every evening, in the beauty of a sunset, you're reminded of His majesty and His ability to speak all of this into creation. Or maybe it's just in the coolness of the evening, your reminder that God brings all things new each and every day. Or maybe it's in the precious gift of a child that you've received. Maybe a child that you prayed so long for, and God answered your prayers and heard your cry. If you'd share that in the comments section, it might encourage each one of us to find God in not just the big things of life, but maybe especially in the small things. I look forward to looking tomorrow as we see the shepherd's response as they hear of the news of the promised Messiah.